He left Judea and departed for Galilee, and he had to pass through Samaria. So he came to a town in Samaria called Sychar, near the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there. So Yeshua, wearied as he was from his journey, was resting beside the well. It was about the 6th hour. John says he has to pass through Samaria. It wasn't something he could just go around like the rest of his tribe did. So he entered into the town of Sychar. It means drunken. Remember Thomas 69? I found them all drunk. I found none of them thirsting, and my soul was afflicted for the sons of men. Yet this is where he comes to rest at the 6th hour, entering into the 7th day. Why here? All we're told is this is near the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there. There's a father and son language where a field is passed down from father on high to son below. The whole Lord of the Mountain thing pops up, implying divine revelations had taken place. Jacob's ladder and ascent should come to mind. Yet when Christ comes to visit, however many generations later, he finds them all drunk. His soul became afflicted for us. He went in search of ones who wanted to never thirst again. A woman from Samaria, sworn enemy of his people, came to draw water. Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink," for his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" For Jews had no dealings with Samaritans. The Samaritan woman walking up at the 6th hour paints her as one who's slightly an outcast from her community because she comes to draw water at the really hot part of the day. The 6 also reminds us of the 6 jars filled to the brim in Cana. She pulls that 7th jar and finds Yeshua at rest. What does God do on the 7th day of creation? What Sephirah is associated with said day? It's Malkut, right? Jesus' kingdom. What would happen if we pour that good wine that represents conscious awareness of the living waters flowing through existence and everything into Malkut? Now, she recognizes he is Jewish and is very well aware that Jewish men would consider her ritually unclean. It was forbidden for him to accept a drink from a vessel she had even touched. She reminds him of how taboo it is for him to ask her for a drink. And he tells her, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, "Give me a drink," you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. We're beginning to recognize what living water is as we tie it into our subconscious soul, silently observing. It's a peaceful thing to see, right? Christ, the conscious awareness, transforms water into wine. Sir, you have nothing to draw water with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us a well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and his livestock. The Samaritan woman follows the same pattern as the story with Nicodemus. She's asking for clarification and seeking a deeper meaning. Feeding sons and livestock with the well is a continuation of the 6th day of creation. 3 feeds into 6. Yeshua and the Samaritan woman were able to rest in union because of the 3rd day in Cana. Seemingly polar opposites in gender, tribal affiliation, social standing, everything were now in union at this place of shared ancestry. Again, Yeshua transformed water into wine in celebration of divine union, and now he had come to demonstrate that truth. So he clarifies, everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become a spring of water welling up to eternal life. It becomes a wellspring within. When you feel the water of the Spirit well up within you, it's Christ, that silent observer in the realest sense, who transforms it. We got to get real silent and observant before we can learn to look from that true eye, but it really does become a lamp shining from your body. She immediately asks for the living water with zero hesitation. She also alludes to a desire to leave the place at the well. She says, or have to come here to draw water, because she knows she's about to ascend beyond her understanding. Yeshua is sharing something so deep that it shouldn't be left at the well. She's ready to take it to her own people and freely share what she's just been given. Yeshua senses this and says, "Go call your husband and come here." The woman answered and said, "I have no husband." He said, "You're right in saying I have no husband, but you have had 5 husbands, and the one you have now is not your husband. What you have said is true." Skip all the situations people have applied to this because it's way more simple than it seems. She's unmarried but is living with someone and doesn't seem to owe any allegiance. We're Jacob's well, the place of ascent from earth into higher realms. Her 5 husbands become the 5 senses when we take the story inwards. Lady, light that lamp at the body and clear out all that internal chatter in between your eye sense and the great I am. The woman said to him, Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you say that in Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship. This is where the narrative gets real and a little tricky to understand. She's speaking with the dual meaning again. She's talking about the microcosm, the 2 temples in their respective places, and the macrocosm, the living temple all mystics know of that exists within the all. Woman, believe me, an hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. Yeshua immediately explains that physical temples have served their purpose, and the temples within us are coming forward. He references 2 Kings when he speaks of what the Samaritans don't understand. The king of Assyria said, have one of the priests you took captive from Samaria go back to live there and teach the people what the God of the land requires. God of the land is our boy El. That's the God of the Canaanites, the one they call Yahweh and Yeshua the son of, El Elyon, right? It's not the supreme deity to the Israelites, though. Even Yahweh is an acronym that ties into the physical sense of the I am beyond the physical world. So all of the rituals and observances for prosperity haven't been filled with an understanding of the living I am. Yeshua came to those who were hungry and fed them the wisdom they needed. But the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father is seeking such people to worship him. God is spirit, our conscious awareness, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. Spirit and truth. It's funny when the truth of God here in Malkut is the Ruach HaKodesh, and this feminine aspect of this outcasted woman is talking to a radical masculine consciousness, right? The 2 mountains converge on our Trinitarian doctrine, and we ask, whose church are we talking about? Your church and your enemy's church. The ritually unclean and outcasts are welcome to bring their 5 husbands inward and worship in truth. Yeshua demonstrated exactly what he meant by sharing profound wisdom with the people who had been intertwined with them since the beginning. He wasn't starting a new religion. He was demonstrating how to live in the law of love and give to everyone without reproach. The Samaritan woman immediately understood and applies what she learned. So the woman left her water jar and went into town. She ascended. The numerical significance of the 7th jar directly relates to the wedding at Cana. This alchemical transmutation resonates with the creative energy unleashed during the 6 days of creation, where divine power infused each aspect of existence with vitality and purpose. In this encounter, we find echoes of the 7th day, a day of divine rest and completion. It signifies the harmonious interplay between the material and the ethereal, the tangible and the transcendent. Because Malkut, the sovereign realm of divine rulership where the divine cloak embraces the fabric of creation, is right here and right now. As the water jar is touched by the living water, it represents a manifestation of divine presence in the world of matter and form. This sacred intermingling reveals that the 7th day is not merely an end, but a portal to the sacred dance of Malkut, a dance where the divine and the human coalesce, where the boundaries blur and the spirit finds its rightful place. What we draw from the innermost well is the sweet sovereignty of serenity every seeker drinks from within. Stay thirsty, my friends. Oh, Shlamalak, my friend. Auf Shukran.